Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Brothers and sisters, I want to start today with a simple question. How many of you are carrying something from your past that you have never truly let go of? Maybe it's a mistake. Maybe it's a sin you committed in secret. Maybe it's a decision you made that hurt someone, or a season of your life you're ashamed of. Maybe it's a label someone gave you. You'll never change. You always mess things up. Look at what you did back then. And somewhere along the way, you started believing it. You started living as if that one chapter was your entire book. I want you to understand something today, and I want you to really let it sink in. Your past does not define your future. Your past is a chapter, not the conclusion. It is a page, not the whole story. And as long as you are alive, as long as your heart is still beating, the pen is still in your hand, and new pages are still waiting to be written. Let's be honest with each other for a moment. Many of us are walking around with an invisible weight on our shoulders, the weight of who we used to be. Some of you are haunted by sins you committed years ago, sins that nobody else knows about, but you replay them in your mind every single night. Some of you made choices in your youth that you now regret deeply. Some of you were in relationships, environments, or habits that you're not proud of. And that guilt has convinced you that you are permanently damaged, permanently disqualified, permanently unworthy of a better future. I need you to hear this clearly. Guilt over sin is healthy when it pushes you to change. But guilt that paralyzes you, guilt that convinces you there's no point in trying anymore, guilt that whispers you're too far gone, that is not humility, that is despair. And despair is one of the most dangerous diseases of the heart because it stops you from moving forward at all. Think about this. If your past truly defined your future with no possibility of change, then no criminal could ever become righteous, no addict could ever become clean, no broken family could ever be healed, and no sinner could ever become sincere. But we know from history, from the lives of the righteous before us, from people we've met with our own eyes, that transformation is real. People with the darkest past have gone on to live the brightest futures. So why would you be the exception? Why would you assume your story has to end where your mistakes began? One of the greatest dangers we face is allowing other people to define us by our worst moments. Someone makes a mistake once, and suddenly that becomes their identity in everyone's eyes. That's the person who failed that business. That's the one who got divorced. That's the one who used to be like that. And slowly, painfully, that person starts believing the label too. They stop trying to grow because everyone around them has already decided who they are. Brothers and sisters, do not let anyone hand you an identity built on your worst day. People are quick to remember your failures and slow to notice your growth. But you don't need their permission to change. You don't need their approval to become better. Your transformation does not require an audience. And it certainly doesn't require validation from people who only remember the old version of you. And here's something even more important. Do not do this to yourself either. Stop introducing yourself by Stop saying, I'm just someone who always messes up, or this is just who I am, I can't change. The moment you accept a label as permanent, you stop fighting for something better. Refuse the label. Rewrite the story. I want to remind you of something comforting. Every single person you admire, every person you look up to, every person who seems to have it all together, they have a past too. Nobody arrives at goodness without first passing through struggle. Nobody becomes wise without first making mistakes. Nobody becomes strong without first being broken in some way. The difference between someone who remains stuck and someone who rises is not the absence of a past. It's the decision of what to do with it. Some people let their past become a prison. Others let it become a classroom. Same event, same history, completely different outcomes because one person decided to keep replaying the pain and the other decided to extract the lesson and move forward. Your past is not your enemy. It's your teacher if you let it be. Every mistake carries a lesson hidden inside it. Every failure carries information you didn't have before. The question is not, why did this happen to me? The question is, what am I going to do with what I now know? I want to tell you something that should fill your heart with hope rather than despair. No matter how long you've been away from goodness, the door back is never closed while you're still breathing. No matter how many times you've fallen, standing back up is always an option. There is no expiry date on turning your life around. There is no rule that says you only get one chance at becoming a better person. People often think, I've already messed up so many times, what's the point of trying again? But think about this differently. Every single day is a fresh opportunity. Every sunrise is an invitation to start over. You are not the same person you were yesterday unless you choose to remain that person. Growth is available to you right now, in this very moment, regardless of how many times you've stumbled before. I always remind people, don't compare your beginning to someone else's middle, and don't compare your past to someone else's present. Everyone's timeline is different. Some people take one attempt to change, others take 50. What matters is that you keep getting up, not how many times you fell down. Shame is a heavy, heavy burden, and if we're not careful, shame will keep us stuck far longer than the actual mistake ever could. You can spend years punishing yourself internally for something you already regretted, already tried to fix, already moved on from, and yet you keep dragging it behind you like a chain around your ankle. Ask yourself honestly, is this shame helping me become better, or is it simply keeping me trapped in the past? If you've already turned away from what you did, if you've already tried to make amends, if you've already changed your ways, then continued shame is not humility anymore. It is a form of self-punishment that serves no purpose. Forgive yourself, because what happened doesn't matter, but because carrying it forever does more damage than the mistake itself ever did. So now the real question becomes, if your past does not have to define you, what will you choose to build instead? This is where the responsibility shifts from what happened to you to what you decide to do next. Start today. Not tomorrow, not next month, not when things settle down, today. Make one better decision than you made yesterday. Speak a little kinder. Be a little more patient. Show up a little more consistently. Growth is rarely a dramatic overnight transformation. It's usually 1,000 small decisions stacked one on top of the other until one day you look back and realize you're simply not the same person anymore. Surround yourself with people who see your potential, not just your history. Surround yourself with environments that push you toward growth rather than pulling you back into old patterns. Protect your heart the same way you'd protect something precious. Because in many ways, it is the most precious thing you own. Some of you listening right now feel like you've done too much, gone too far, fallen too many times to ever come back. I want to speak directly to you. You are not beyond change. Nobody is. The very fact that you're sitting here reflecting, feeling something stir in your heart as you listen to this, that itself is a sign that your heart is still alive, capable, still reachable. Don't let Shaitan convince you that your case is hopeless, because hopelessness is one of his favorite tools. He doesn't need you to sin forever. He just needs you to believe that change is impossible so that you stop trying altogether. Don't give him that victory. Prove to yourself, prove to your own soul that you are capable of becoming someone new. Brothers and sisters, let this be the moment you stop living as a prisoner of your past and start living as an architect of your future. Your mistakes were real, but they were never meant to be your permanent home. Your regrets were real, but they were never meant to be your final chapter. You are not disqualified. You are not too late. You are not beyond change. The past shaped you, yes, but it does not get to decide who you become from here. That decision belongs to you, one choice at a time, one day at a time, one sincere effort at a time. May our hearts find the courage to let go of what no longer serves us, the humility to learn from what we've been through, and the strength to build a future far greater than the mistakes of our past. Barakallahu fikum. Reflect on this, act on it, and start today.